Hey, good morning, guys. Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire. Yes, but I had some people that were new teachers on my channel ask me about doing, some new teacher videos, some first day of school type videos, and that's what I'm going to start kind of tackling today. The first day of school. Let's just go ahead and let's get this one out of the way. Let's do this first. I just got through with the series about how to stay in teaching for 30 years, okay? How to make it until you are retired. That set of videos you probably want to go back and watch if you hadn't watched those, because you probably need to watch those before the first day of school if you plan on teaching a long time. So, and I hope you do. Here's what you're going to be facing, okay? Especially if you're a new teacher. I mean brand new, like right out of the box. Baby teacher. Here we go. When you come out and they start you in on day one, for new teachers, you're going to have like maybe a day or two extra, and they'll be telling you everything in the world about the district level stuff, like I said, about insurance and stuff like that, and how to work the all the computer stuff and the technology stuff you have to deal with. They teach you about all of that. You go through all that for a day or two, and then you get to go to your school, and then they're going to spend about 3 or 4 days at your school doing the same kind of stuff, but it's on the school level. So by the time you finish up with all that kind of stuff, it's going to be all of a sudden open house, and they're going to be having all the parents and all the kids come down to the school to drop by your room to see where their classes are going to be, to pick up their schedules, to do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's first day of school. And you've been spending all this time doing all this stuff, and now the first day of school, you're not ready. That's the number one thing I want to let you know, no matter what you have to do. Okay? And don't listen to the older teachers. I'm just telling you right now, because they're going to tell you things that are not going to help you, because they have forgotten what it's like to be a first-year teacher, a lot of those guys. And they're going to tell you things that they do that are not going to help you, okay? Because they've been doing it. They've already got a routine. They already know what to expect. And some of them don't do a good job on the first day. So don't, necessarily just do what they're doing, okay? Because here's what they're going to do, a lot of them. Now, I'm not saying don't mishear me here. I'm not saying every teacher does this, but what a lot of them are going to do is they're going to say, you know what, we don't make enough money. We don't, this is not, a 24-hour a day job. So when it turns 4 o'clock, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going home because I have a life. I understand that. But the first day of school, let me just go ahead and tell you, if you're not ready, and you go and you get in your car every day at 4 o'clock and you drive home, and that first day of school hits, and you're not ready, I'm telling you, it is going to affect the rest of your year, okay? And here's the way I like to explain it to new teachers, is it's like being on a big, gigantic ship. And the first day of school is the direction that ship's going to be headed. And if you're going the entirely wrong direction, you can't just turn one of these ships around the next day. They take a while to get turned around and back on track of the way they want to get. And you don't have time for that ship to take off the wrong direction. It's got to be, it is the most important day of your whole year, is that first day. And not only that, the most important time of your first year is that first 10 minutes. Those kids are going to make up their minds in the first 10 minutes of your class how things are going to go. And I'm going to tell you how things are going to go. They're going to go the way the kids expect them to go. Because once they get in there and they see how things are, they get in charge. And they're like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to, this is how I can act in here. This is how I'm supposed to act in here. So here we go. This is the way I'm going to do it. And they just, it's just like that. They make up their mind about you just like that. So I'm just telling you, that first 10 minutes, man, you better be on your game. So don't go through all that stuff and you're like, oh, this is just so over, because it's going to be overwhelming. I just tell you right now, it's going to be so overwhelming. It's going to be so much stuff. It is going to blow your mind. And you're going to go, how in the world and then all of a sudden you're in the classroom. So if you have to work outside of that 8 hours, you better do it. Because really, you're not a clock punching employee. I know they make you sign in and sign out and all that junk, but bottom line is you are a salaried employee, and you need to work the amount of time it takes to do the job. Now, was I a person that worked 12 hours a day? No. Did I go home at 4 o'clock most of the time? Yes. But the reason I was able to do that is because after I had enough experience and stuff, I made my job, I made the way that I worked fit those hours. And you're going to have a hard time doing that to start with. But if you have to stay extra, I'm begging you, stay extra. Do not, just say, well, I can't do it and not be ready. Get ready. If you got to stay, an extra 2 hours every day, stay an extra 2 hours. Get ready, okay? This is what needs to happen, all right, the first day. Because a lot of people, if you listen to these older teachers, what they're going to tell you is, half those kids that are in your class, a week from now, they're not even going to be in your class anymore because the administrators can't get the schedule right, and the kids all change their schedules and all that. I don't pay attention to that. If the first day all they do is make change, then they change everything and they make announcements all day and they want you to do this, and so the first day all I do is have them play a game and tell them what you did in the summer, and try to learn each other's names, just have fun. Don't do that, okay? Do not waste this day. This day is not a free day. This day is not talk to the kids for 2 minutes and say, okay guys, today we're just going to sit around. I know none of you do not do that. It's not a free day. You only get so many days, and you're going to lose all kind of days to testing. You're going to lose all kind of days to whatever happens in the school, fire drills, safety drill, all this stuff. You're going to have time where your kids are going to miss time in class. Don't waste this time, all right? Have a seating chart. Now, I don't care if it's elementary, high school. I don't care if it is a college level class, a vocational class, band class, PE. I don't care what it is. You need to have a seating chart, and you need to have it that first day. And don't sit here and say, well, I don't even know if all these kids are going to make one, okay? And, well, how do I make? I don't know who the kids are. I don't, put it in alphabetical order. Do something. Make a seating chart. Because when they walk in your room, the first thing that happens is you tell them where they're sitting. Then that automatically says, okay, there's order, and this person's in charge. And, and it's the first day there's a 99% chance they're going to do what you're telling them to do on the first day because they don't have a reason not to yet. And so, get in there, and as they are walking in the door, you need to be standing in that door. Don't be up there at your desk looking around and scrambling and looking at stuff. You be at that door, and every kid that walks in that room, you need to greet them, no matter what level it is, if it's elementary, middle, or high. Those kids, are going to respond to at least thinking that you care about them somewhat, that you have their interest in mind, that you're there for them, and greeting them at the door. And it doesn't have to be anything like super elaborate or whatever, but just, making eye contact with them. Hey, welcome to class, good to have you here, or something, whatever. Just do something to show that you are ready for them to come into your room. And as they're coming in, hey, what's your name? John. Okay, John, you're sitting in the first row on the second desk up there, and have the desk labeled so they know, have desk 1, 2, 3, whatever. Put some tape on there, put the number on. Now, John, you're in desk 1, Hey, so you're in desk 4 over here. So if you'll sit over there for me. That does a world of good because you're talking to them, you're addressing them, you're recognizing them, you're taking control, okay? And you need to be, that first day, you need to be in control. You need to show immediately in that classroom, I'm the one that's in control here, okay? I'm the one that's the adult. I'm the one that decides how things go. That has to happen like that first, it's got to happen. It's got to happen, okay? Don't go in there and put on some kind of dog and pony show. where if you're the kind of person and you're not funny, don't go in there and try to be funny on the first day. If you're the kind of person like, you're real, lovey-dovey to the kids and you're very personable with the kids and don't go in there the first day and try to act tough. Don't be somebody that you're not on the first day, because they see through that in a heartbeat. They see exactly, this guy's fake. This is not the way he acts. Be yourself, because that's how you're going to end up being anyway. Be yourself and start from day one. Okay? So tell them where to sit. All right? That's the first thing. All right? The second thing is be organized. Okay? Don't go in there and start digging around on your desk and trying to figure out I had to, because it's going to happen. It's so easy to happen because so much is going on. And, it may be we're going to do this, and then the last second they change it to, oh, we're going to change the schedule today. Or, hey, first period, we're going to take your class out and have an assembly. They're liable to do anything. And don't let any of that get you off track. Have everything organized ahead of time. Don't be trying to find your grade book. Don't be trying to find the class, well, they sent me a new roster this morning. Get there early, have your roster, have everything know where it is, okay? Because if you go in there and you act like you don't know what's going on, they're going to be all over that, especially if you're a first-year teacher. I can't tell you how many teachers, I can't tell you how many kids I've talked to that have said things like come to my office and like, Miss So-and-so doesn't know what she's doing. Or, why did the sub send you out of the classroom? Or why did the new teacher send you out of the classroom? They don't know what they're doing. And when they look at you and you look like you don't know what you're doing, they assume you don't know what you're doing. This guy don't know what he's doing. He can't even find his, have your stuff, be organized, know where it is. Don't give them any reason to think that you are incompetent in you got to be the most competent, knowledgeable, you got to be like the expert in that room about everything. Okay. So have everything ready to go. All right. And you may not think it's a big deal, but I'm telling you, it is a big deal. All right. So have a seat for them, meet them at the door, be organized when you get in, so you know what the next thing is you're going to do, and go start. I taught, but by the time I got to the end of my career in teaching, before I became an administrator, I literally started teaching on the first day. I started having them take notes. I gave them a quiz on the first day. I don't care if every kid in that class got changed out and put in another room. On the first day, we were doing something. We weren't wasting our time. I wanted them to say, oh man, he means business. Now, was I, a drill sergeant? No. But we started. Hey, I don't have a pencil. That's okay. I'm going to write the notes up here. We'll write them up on the board. You guys can look at them, but we're going to start, And then, I would give them a quiz. It would be like, you gave them a quiz? Yes, I gave them a quiz. I mean, it might be 3 questions. It might be 3 questions about what I had to go over for the school. Like if, some schools will do stuff like say, okay, the social studies teachers have to go over the dress code. And the math teachers are going to go over, and I want you to spend the first day going over that stuff. If that's what I had to do, I was teaching it. I was treating it like I was teaching, about some historical thing in my history class. I mean, it got taught. And I gave them a quiz, and it would be like something real simple, 3 questions. And I mean something everybody can get. I made it the easiest quiz. And so they would take their little quiz. I don't have any paper. Hey guys, if you got a piece of paper, tear off a piece and give it to this. It can be a scrap piece of paper. You don't even have to have it. Put it on anything you want. I don't have a pencil. I got some pencils up here. I was ready. You guys are going to take this quiz and write it down. And then I would have them grade it themselves. I would say, okay, let's go over the answers. Number 1 is this. Give yourself a check or an X or whatever. And then number 2, number 3, I'd have them grade it. I'd have them come up, I'd call their name. Hey, John, come up here. Let me see what you got, and I'd write it down in my book. Now, did it count much? No. It wasn't gonna count. It did count, but quizzes counted such a low percentage of my grades, they couldn't really affect your grade. But I wanted to let them know right off, man, we're taking score. We are, we are learning. We are, whatever. It's the first. It's go time. I'm in charge. We're teaching. Um, your first day, you also want to make sure, whatever the major rules are for your class, and you don't need to have 15 of them. You need to have like 2 or 3 big things that it's like your thing. Okay, like mine. I'll tell you what mine were. Um, mine were, I would tell them when I'm talking, I don't want you to talk. Okay, when I'm talking, and when you're talking, I'll listen to you. When I'm talking, whatever. But and when it's time when everybody can talk, I'll tell you. I'll let you guys know. You're not going to have to wonder when it's okay to talk, when it's not okay to talk. I'm not going to make you sit here and not talk all day long. We're going to do different stuff in this class. Blah blah blah. And I tell them all this stuff. But I would tell them if I didn't want them talking when I'm talking. That's one of the main things. I would tell them, I'm not going to let you put your head down and sleep. Because and I would tell them when they come in and observe me, one of the things that they look for is that the students are engaged. And if you have your head down on that desk and you're sleeping, you're not engaged. So if I see you with your head down on your desk, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to stand up. I'm not going to leave you standing there long. It's going to be 15, 20 seconds, whatever. But I'm going to have you stand up just so you can kind of wake up a little bit, and then I'll set you back down. I'm not going to write you up. I'm not calling your mom and dad. Just to let you know, I'm going to have you stand up. And whatever you tell them needs to be something you're going to do the rest of the year. Never waver from it. So whatever is your major things, you better make sure it's something that you can do. Don't come up with something that's going to cause you a million hours of work to try to keep up with. The other thing, I was real big about being on time in my class because people would be late all the time. So I would always tell them, okay, guys, this is what's going to happen. If you come in here late, here's how I'm going to do it. And I would tell them, whatever the rules were, I knew what the rules were. I would say the first time it's what it said in the book, and I knew the administrators would do it because it was what was in the book. I would say the first time I'm going to call your mom, or the first time I'm going to give you a warning. Second time I'm going to make a phone call. Third time I'm going to do, and I did it like clockwork. I did exactly the way I said I was going to do it. And once they saw I was going to do exactly what I said, they came to my class on time more than anybody else, more than a lot of people, because they didn't want to mess with the phone calls. They didn't want to mess with all, But that was one of my big things. That was for me. That's what I like. That's you may not care if they come in there late every time, but the administrator will probably get mad at you if they do. All right. The other thing that was one of my big rules was this, and this is because I did high school, and I also did the same thing with middle school. I would tell them, okay, guys, I am a state mandated reporter for child abuse, and because all teachers are, okay, but I would tell them I'm a state mandated reporter for child abuse, and if you come into my classroom and I hear you talking about doing drugs or drinking or having sex or any of those things, then I'm going to assume that your parents or guardians are not taking care of you, because everybody in here is underage. Nobody in here is old enough to drink. Nobody in here needs to be doing drugs. So I'm going to assume that you're being neglected at home. Somebody is not paying enough attention to you to keep you safe and healthy. So if I hear that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this in to the counselors, and then they can report it to DFACS, or I can report it to DFACS, whatever. Then they can find out why in your house, a 16-year-old's getting access to alcohol, or a 16-year-old's getting access to drugs, or they're having sex or whatever. And I cannot tell you how I would have kids come in that were a week later. They'd come into the class and they'd start talking about something, and the other kids would go, "Hey, don't talk about that. He's a state mandated reporter." They didn't talk about that stuff in my class. When I told them I was going to turn that into the counselors, and I told them that I was going to report it to DFACS, because I would, when I told them that, they didn't talk about that stuff, and that worked like a charm for me. But I would only do literally like 3 things. These are my 3 big things that that really bother me. So I'm going to let you guys know up front. Here's what they are. I didn't want to get bogged down in a 50-minute discussion of every rule in the rule book if I didn't have to, if they weren't making me do it. Because I wanted to get to some kind of learning on the first day. I wanted them to know in here you're going to learn. In here I'm going to hold you accountable for the learning. I'm going to hold you accountable for your behavior. I'm in charge. All that kind of stuff. And it's all it's psychological stuff. Like, if a kid, when I was administrator, if a kid came in my office, I would do stuff like, he walks in the door, I'd be like, hang on 1 second for me, please, just stand right there. And they'd stop and they'd stand there, and I'd do something, I'm like, okay, have a seat, please. And they'd sit down. Well, I just told him what to do twice, and they did it. Because it was really, really simple stuff, and you just psychologically, okay, just stop and do it. And that sounds like it's not much, but it's a big thing, because I just told you what to do, and you did it. And that's how things are going to roll in here. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to do it. And, did this work? The rest, no. I mean, they might get mad. They might do whatever. They might jump up and run out of the office. I don't know. But at least I had a little control when they came in. It's the same thing in the classroom. You need to have control when they first come in. Take advantage of that first day, because that first day they don't know what to expect. But if you give them a reason to believe this is going to be free time, if you give them a reason to believe this person can get walked over, if you're going to give them a reason to believe that you don't know what you're doing, they're not going to change their mind about that. Once they make up their mind about you, their mind's made up. Once they make up their mind, and they don't know what they're doing. Rest of the year, they don't know what they're doing. Week 3, when you do know what you're doing, and you're trying to teach, and you're trying to, they're still in their mind thinking you don't know what you're doing. So, show them the first day, and be ready. Do not let all that other stuff take precedence in everything you're doing. The thing is the first day. And I can't tell you how many teachers I saw get to that first day, not be ready. Once you get in that classroom, it's you. I can't help you anymore. Once you get in that classroom, it's like the rodeo. Once you get on that bull, you're on the bull. The clowns can't help you. You got to ride the bull. So once you get in that classroom, the administrators, you might as well get in your mind. The administrators can't help me. The other teachers can't help me. It's me and those kids. And it's me and those kids. There's nobody else here. So be ready. Please be ready for the first day. And that's my best advice. As far as your discipline, as far as how things are going to go the rest of your year, I would, the first day can make or break. First day can make or break it. Now, can you turn that ship around? If you mess up the first day, yeah, you can turn the ship around. But, man, it is so hard to turn that ship around. It takes so much gas. It's a big, gigantic ship. The captain has to navigate all the stuff and get it turned around, and there's a channel. The channel's here, and it's shallow over there, and man, this is a big old ship in a little space. How am I going to get this thing, can I back up? Don't get that ship going. Don't get that ship going the wrong direction. You better make sure. Get it going the right direction. All right, so that's my advice. First day teaching. And no matter, what they tell you have to do on the first day, fix it to the way you want to do it. Make it yours. I wanted those kids to know this is how things are going to go in here every day. And if you'll do those things the first day, I think you're going to find that the rest of your year is going to be a lot better. So don't mess it up. No pressure, but there's only one chance. One chance. So knock it out of the park. All right, guys, thanks for watching Nichols Retirement Empire.